Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to my knitting podcast series. It is wonderful to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Samantha and I am the knitter and knitwear designer behind the account The Strikkechick. So it's been about 2 weeks since I did my last podcast episode, and I have been knitting quite a lot. So I have a fair amount of finished objects and works in progress, and one new acquisition to show you today. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just dive into it. So what I'm wearing right now is the Azulejos sweater by me. This is one of my designs, but I designed it for Hobbii yarn. So it is part of their oh gosh, what campaign is it? Well, it's gosh, I don't think it was Natural Beauty. Great Basics. It was part of their Great Basics campaign, kind of a recent campaign that went out. And I knit this up in their Alpaca silk, which is a fingering weight yarn, really, really, really lovely to work with. And I used this medium blue shade, as well as their natural off-white. And I will have that linked below. It is a free pattern on their website, so if you would like to make one for yourself, you can make one too. It is knit from the top down in a drop shoulder design. You can see the drop shoulders here. And there are short row shaping at the top. The whole thing is charted color work. So that is, that was always fun. I enjoy that. Definitely more so in the round than when you're knitting back and forth to shape the shoulders, though, for sure. And this was kind of a special little project to me because I was knitting this up when my baby girl was a newborn. And it was also very stressful because when you design for them, you have this deadline of when you need to submit finished pictures and the finished pattern and everything. And the deadline for this was November 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And so that entire, because I had my baby in the summer, so that entire newborn period, I was working on this. And in my genius wisdom, my mom brain, I forgot entirely about the month of October. I just erased it. So it was September and I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to finish this. It's going to be the 1st and it's due on the 1st. And then I did finish it. And then October 1st came around and I was like, oh, I have a whole month. So that was kind of a nice little surprise, but could have saved myself a lot of stress if I had just looked at a calendar or something. So yeah, but I digress. So this is charted color work, and then you have 1 by 1 corrugated rib detailing on the cuffs, on the collar, on the hem. So yeah, it's very it's an engaging knit for sure, but I love the drape so much, and I think it's because I live up in the Arctic Circle of Norway, where it is still very, very cold, so I think it's a good spring sweater for that reason. Yeah. So this is the Azulejos sweater. So moving right along, my first finished object to show you guys today is this little guy. This is Aften's Luftballong number 1, nummer 1, by Aftenstrikk, and you can kind of tell that the ropes should be dragging down more, but maybe I don't have anything heavy enough in here. I have a 20 kroner coin from Denmark just in the basket right now. So this is just this cute little hanging hot air balloon that I started back when I was pregnant. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make like a mobile with like 4 of them for my little girl. And I don't know, it was just like knitting these little panels, because you knit 8 of them. It just kind of like, I don't know, it just like zapped me, I guess. Like, I just didn't, it's funny. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I just figured I'd knit the one and then I can hang it up somewhere as like a decoration, maybe like in her room one day. So I just used up leftover yarn for this. I didn't go out and buy anything new. The pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, but I just used DK because that is what I had in my stash. So I used some drops Lima in this off-white cream shade, and I used some Knitting for Olive heavy merino in this like rose clay colorway, and then I used some Lettlopi in this like chocolatey brown. That I figured Lettlopi is good because it'll like hold its shape better, right? So like the basket looks kind of nice, and it's so yeah, you knit the whole balloon, right? And then you like crochet these little ropes, and I made these little bows you tie along to where each panel meets, and I just think it's very cute. I don't think I'll make another one because it was a lot for me. Maybe if I have some leftover yarn and I really want to make more, but I think this like is a nice standalone little decoration for her room. It's a little hot air balloon, which I think is nice. I definitely enjoy the product more than I enjoyed the process here, because it was, I mean, it took forever, it felt like, but I'm so happy with how it did turn out. And I did use quite a lot of my old, like, you know, yarn ends and scraps and stuff for stuffing. I've been saving, like, you know, when you weave in your ends and you cut the tails of the yarn, I save all of that for stuffing. So because stuffing is kind of expensive actually, and I don't want to have to go out and buy my own, so I just use this, and it works really well. So yeah, that's Aften's Luftballong #1. I think it's quite whimsical and very cute. So yeah, that will hang in her room one day. Okay, there's a theme here with all my finished objects, and I apologize in advance, but they're all like baby children related. Just that's what I've been knitting on. But I will have more to show you for the works in progress, I promise. So this is my next finished object, and I showed you guys this on my last podcast when it was a work in progress. This is Eileen's Sommerkjole knit by Jakobsen, who is a Norwegian knitwear designer. She designs primarily for babies and kids, but she also has some adult patterns on her website. And I just really liked this little dress. I made it for a 1-year-old size. I'm thinking it is definitely more of a like fall dress for my little girl because it's very heavy, very warm. It's knit in one strand of, I think it's called Inca by Rauma Garn. No, it's an alpaca yarn. And then I also held one strand of Sandnes Garn Tynn silk Mohair along with it. So it's very, very warm. Very beautiful color though. I love this color. I think it's so adorable. It's actually the Inca that I bought is more blue toned, and the Tynn silk Mohair was more green. You can kind of see I embroidered these little flowers on afterwards in Tynn silk Mohair, and that's more greenish because that's just mohair silk held double. But yeah, this is knit from the top down. It is seamless, so you knit little raglan construction for the body and the sleeves. And you knit flat for a bit too to get this buttonhole shaping in the back. And then you knit this little tuck if you want. She says you can leave it out if you feel like it. And then you just knit the skirt in the round with some increases. And you have a double folded hem at the bottom. So when I was knitting this, the double folded hem curled like crazy. And I was actually very worried about it because the I-cord hems, like these ones on the sleeves, they weren't curling at all. So I was like, oh no, did I do something wrong with my folded hem? So I blocked it before I did the embroidery. And I pinned the heck out of the hem. I pinned every centimeter basically in 2 places. I pinned at the top of the fold and the bottom of the fold. And then it did straighten out at the end. So that worked out really, really well. And I think, the ruffles you pick up and knit, because she has you knit these like pearl ridges, and then you pick up and knit the ruffles from the pearl ridges afterwards. And I think the ruffles are a very, very sweet little touch. I love ruffles for baby girls. So yeah, that is the Eileen kjole by, kjole means dress in Norwegian. That's the Eileen kjole knit by Jakobsen. It's just very, very cute, and I love embroidery on knitwear. I have recently started getting a lot more into embroidery, but I don't know, I mean, I like having patterns. I don't like freehanding the embroidery, so I love that she gives you like all these different options for embroidery that you can just kind of trace onto, what is that paper called? The one, it's like just washable, like, tracing paper that you can just trace your embroidery pattern onto, and then it's water soluble. So that's what I used. And then I recently also bought an LED lighting pad where I can like put my paper with the embroidery pattern on it and then put the fabric on it. And because there's a light source, it's much easier to transfer it over with like a pencil or some fabric pens or whatnot. So I thought that was really, really nice. It's a really nice final touch. I did kind of like off-center the embroidery when I pinned it on, so I had to kind of like freehand a bit towards the end there, because otherwise it would have gone out like this, and I feel like that would have just looked way too off. But yeah, I'm actually very happy with how this turned out, and I can't wait for my little girl to wear it. Okay, my last finished object for you guys is actually something I have never showed you before. It just kind of happened. This is Pooh Bear. It's the Pooh Bear pattern by Dot Pebbles Knits, or Claire Garland. She does the most beautiful stuffed animals. They're just so wonderful. All of them look just so adorable, and I want to knit all of them, but obviously limited knitting time. So I started off with the 100 Acre Wood family, because she has patterns for all of them except for Rabbit, I think, who either has just come out or is coming out very soon. I started with Pooh Bear, and I knit him in leftover yarn. This is Peer Gynt, which is 100% Norwegian wool. It's like, I think it's solgull, like sun yellow, and it is like 50 grams is 90 meters. It's about a DK weight yarn. Oh, I have a fluff. Okay, no more fluff. So it's a DK weight yarn, and I used that and knit him up in, I think it was the perfect Pooh Bear shade. It was actually left over from my Alexandria cardigan that I showed you guys on my last podcast. And then I bought this pack of safety eyes and safety noses from my local Hobbii store. He's definitely supposed to have a bigger nose. The noses just kind of came in this one size, but I think it's okay. I think it kind of works. And then his little safety eyes. Oh my goodness, the washer backs on safety eyes and safety noses it's like a new kind of torture, honestly. Like it's so hard to get those on. I didn't realize. So every time I do them, I'm like, all right, now my hands need a break. I need to like do something that's just not crafting at all. So that's like a whole task in and of itself. So, but I don't know. I think it just adds a little something and makes him look very cute. He's knit flat. All parts of him are knit flat, and then you like seam him up. And again, I used leftover yarn ends and things to stuff him. And I used some leftover Duvet d'Anjou by La Droguerie in the shade, I want to say Pâté d'Anco. It might be discontinued now. This is from my trip to Nice in 2022. So yeah, this was a while ago. But I had some left over from when I knit my Bonnier cardigan sample, the original one. And I had just enough to make Pooh Bear a little t-shirt. So I did. I made him a little t-shirt. And now my little girl has a Pooh Bear. He just lives on the bookshelf for now, but eventually I think he'll live in her room. We'll have a little corner for the 100 Acre Wood family. Yeah. Okay. That is all my finished objects, and I'm going to show you guys a couple works in progress that have been on my needles. So to kind of follow the same vein as Pooh Bear, I have been knitting Piglet. So this is going to be Piglet. I just put his vest on him already, even though he doesn't have arms and legs. These are all in the original style of the A.A. Milne characters, and not in like the Disney recreations, which I think is really, really cute. So this is Piglet. He's kind of like, looks like this, flat. And I didn't put an armature wire in through the body. I figure maybe I'll want to bend his head a little bit, and I'll just like put a little stitch in like that. And so he can like have more of an obvious like, this is his head, this is his neck. So I'll do that. And I knit him a little vest. So she says in her pattern, you alternate stripes. But then because you're knitting flat and you're alternating colors, that means you have to carry the yarn across the back of your work. And I wanted to use yarn that I had like very, very, very little of. So I didn't want to do that. So what I did instead was I used 3 colors of yarn. Because when you use 3 colors, you don't have to carry it across the back of your work. You can just, the yarn will always be where it needs to be. So I chose to go with this little, it's like a baby blue. It's actually the very, very little leftover Inca I had from the Eileen kjole. And there's some drops Flora in here, which is left over from when I knit the olives, the lace dress body and the matching lace hat, the bonnet, and then also some Hobbii. It's a superwash wool. I want to say it's Hobbii Amigo. Yeah. So I had that left over. I just used it up for this little vest. And the reason why I actually have finished knitting everything I need to knit, so I have like arms and legs all knit up and ready to go. And the reason why I haven't finished him is because I can't find paper wrapped armature wire in Norway. I don't know if I'm just not searching for the right thing or if it just doesn't exist here. And like I mentioned on my last podcast, it's absolutely impossible to get anything imported into Norway if the manufacturer doesn't like already have a Norwegian distribution like routine set up, because you're going to be paying really high import taxes. You also pay import taxes on the shipping. We've basically just like embargoed the world, it feels like. So what I did instead was I ordered it on Amazon to my parents' house in the States, and we are going to go for a visit soon. So I'll take Piglet with me and I'll finish him up while we're there and then bring him back. So that's the plan for him. And I knit him in drops alpaca mostly. It's like a strawberry cream color for the body, and then a slightly darker pink for the ears and the snout. And I have so much of this left over, so I'm thinking about turning the rest of the yarn into like a striped sweater for my little girl. Maybe have to throw in another color there, like a neutral, but I do have quite a bit of leftover fingering weight yarn in my stash now, in different fiber types. So we'll see what I can throw together, and I'll definitely make like a leftover garment out of those. So that is Piglet. He's so tiny compared to Pooh Bear, but I guess that tracks, right? That's lore accurate. Okay, so the next work in progress that I have on my needles is something I'm sitting on and something that I am designing. It is a pair of what I'm calling the Oilia tights. So I had some Gepard Garn Cotton Wool 3 in my stash from when I test knit the baby bear sweater for Ann-Katrin Stoll. And I mean, that's just an adorable pattern in and of itself. I will link it and you should check it out because it's just, it's been one of our favorites for sure. But I had enough of the brown left over to make some pants for my little girl. So I figured I would make these little lace bottom tights. So I used one of the border knitting stitches from Hitomi Shida's Knit Stitch Bible or Knit Stitch Dictionary, and I really like these little waves at the bottom, and I like how well it fits in with twisted rib, and I think the plan is when I'm done, so right now I have knit both legs separately. I joined them together for the crotch. I did all the crotch decreases. You can kind of see here there's like these 2 stitches in the middle, and then you do like a crotch decrease into them, and I'm gonna knit this a certain amount. I'm gonna do some short row shaping in the back just to allow for extra space, and then I'm going to do a twisted rib button band, and I think an I-cord tie if I have enough yarn, and if I don't have enough yarn, then I am just going to put an elastic in. So we'll see when we get there what the plan is. But yeah, I'm very excited about how these are turning out. They are the 1 year size as the sample, so hopefully she'll be able to wear them. Usually when I make things that are like a 1 year size or a 1.5 years, there's like some wiggle room there, right? Especially on the lower end. So she can probably wear them from 9 months up. If it's a year, it'll just be like a little baggy, maybe a little long, so you just fold it up and then it's fine. So yeah, so excited to see her in the little set of the baby bear sweater and these little pants. And these are new. I didn't actually show you guys last time, but they've worked up very fast, as do most baby knits. Okay, my next work in progress that I have going currently is the Stella quilt blanket by Penrose Knits. So I've finished. So the way that the Stella quilt blanket works is you knit these, like, I forget what the official terminology she uses is, but you knit these like panels, and then you can either join them, like do like a modular join as you go, or you can just crochet together at the end, and I'm choosing to crochet them together at the end because I do not know how I want to lay out my pieces. I was going to knit the biggest size, which is like 3 of these across and then 4 long, but I want it to be a blanket for my daughter, and I think that would be a little much, especially because I've gone up a needle size because I'm using Aran weight yarn instead of DK weight yarn. So what I'm going to do is 2 across and 3 long, and I think that's a good like cuddle under this and watch some TV knitted blanket. Yeah, so I finished this one, which is very much like a shades of green. Like, I ran out of this yarn over here think you can see, so I had to like sub in this yarn, but I don't know, I think it's fine. So this is the first little bit, and then I have started on the second one, which is also kind of green themed, isn't it? It's more like blue greens, I think. I'm going to incorporate more blues into this. I've already picked out my colors for it. So this is an entirely leftover yarn project, with the exception of the off-white. So I had a lot of this off-white in my leftover yarn. This is Drops Nepal in the shade 0100. But I don't think I'll have enough to finish the blanket, so I will have to like buy some more skeins of that. But all of the colors are leftover yarn that's in my stash. So I've used, this is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in this like sea glassy color, which I used to knit my Davenport camisole, which I absolutely love. And then this is Hip Wool from Hip Knit Shop. She sent over quite a bit of wool when I test knit the, it was a sweater that I knit for her. I think it was the Rewind sweater that I test knit, and she sent yarn for it. And she sent over a bunch of options actually for contrast colors. So some of them I hadn't used and I still had in my stash. And this is one of them. It's like this very, very pretty, like meadowy green. And on this panel, we have a lot of Noro yarn, Silk Garden Solo, from when I knit my Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit. We have some Dala Garn. I want to say this is Natural Lanolin Wool from the OL Genser. Some Drops Nepal from Redari. So like there's just a lot of like project memories built in here, right? This is some Rowan Felted Tweed DK held double actually, because it met gauge better, from my Menlo sweater sample. And then we have some more hip wool that I got for the Rewind sweater test knit. So lots of really, really nice memories associated with the yarn that has gone into this blanket. And it's a very nice, very portable project, especially when you don't do the modular join, because like, look at this. You just fold it up like this. And now it's this nice little compact, like it's good to go. And that's like a whole, like there's gonna be 6 of these, and I just seamed them together. So we're on our way. I've been trying to knit like a triangle a day is my goal. It's very, very easy, like TV knitting, because it's just garter stitch. You just knit back and forth. So I do that, and yeah, I'm already almost 1/4 of the way through my next panel, which is very exciting. And choosing the colors, honestly, is the part that takes the longest, at least for me, and I've already done that now for this, so I know what's going into it, so that's exciting. And it's just so nice to like see it just come to life. So yeah, that is the Stella quilt blanket pattern. Okay, my last work in progress that is a bit sad because I don't have that much progress on it really. This is the start of a Riviera cardigan that I am making for myself. Finally, a selfish knit. So I wanted, so the Riviera cardigan, sorry, to start off, is this striped cardigan that I designed. You make the stripes by holding a fingering weight yarn with a silk mohair, and you replace the color of the silk mohair to make the stripes. So it's a good leftover yarn project. You can make the stripes with different colors of silk mohair. I'm actually planning to do that for, like, I have a bunch of leftover silk mohairs, so I'm planning on doing like a stripy, leftover stripy version of the Riviera cardigan for myself at some point. And then I am making this sample as a solid colored version without the stripes, in just one weight of yarn. This is Brushed Alpaca silk. in this very like pinkish red colorway. And I'm making this actually to match this little festedrakt we bought for my daughter. So a festedrakt, if you don't know, the 17th the 17th of May is Norway's National Day. It's their Constitution Day, and so it's like happy birthday Norway. Everybody celebrates. You wear your traditional dress, which is called the bunad. So most women or girls wear the bunad from where their family comes from, like the region in Norway. They each have like their own specific bunad. I obviously don't have one. I don't think I will ever have one. To me, like, even if I do become a Norwegian citizen, I will never in my life feel Norwegian. So I don't think it's appropriate then for me to wear their national dress. But my daughter is Norwegian. So I mean, getting a bunads are very expensive, guys. They can run you like upwards of $6,000, especially when you consider in like all of the jewelry and stuff that goes with it. But so when you have a dress that kind of is in the style of a bunad but doesn't have like the historical significance of a bunad, like what I showed you, that's called a festedrakt or a party dress. So it doesn't have like the same kind of cultural significance as the bunad, but it kind of resembles a bunad, kind of. Yeah, so that's what she has, like a little festedrakt. And so I wanted to make a cardigan that matched her festedrakt, so that on the 17th of May we can match. So yeah, it'll be, I mean, hopefully we have good weather in Tromsø. Like, I mean, there have been 17. Mai before. The first 17. Mai we spent here was in 2021, and it was beautiful. It was sunny, it was 15 degrees. People were complaining it was too hot for their bunads because the bunads were made of wool. But then the one in 2022, it was snowing. So it's very much a coin flip how it is on the 17th of May. But we do, if it's nice enough, want to go out to the parade. There's always this children's parade that they do, and I think it would be nice for my daughter to be a part of the celebration and yeah, I mean, grow up feeling like she belongs, even if I don't feel like I do. So yeah, that rant aside, that is what I'm doing. I'm making my Riviera cardigan in this shade, and I think it's a very nice red anyway. I think that I would still wear it, maybe not like, it's not a summer color for me, but it definitely is a fall color. I feel like bright red is very, very good for the fall, so that is, yeah, that's going to be like a fall piece. And this is also like part of my Make 9. I just put out a video last week about my 2025 Make 9, and this one was on there to make the Riviera cardigan in this shade. So now I have officially cast it on, and I have set a deadline for myself, so hopefully we should have an adult-sized finished object next time we speak. Okay, the last thing I have to show you guys, I gotta grab for it actually. Give me a sec. Oh boy. Okay, so I think it was like a week and some change ago, Rauma Garn and Aftenstrikk came out with Harepus. So Harepus, I think this is a better photo actually. Harepus is this adorable little stuffed bunny. It's a little bunny. And you get patterns for a whole wardrobe for the bunny. So I can just show you maybe a couple pictures in. So like, I don't know if you can see that. You get like a little sweater and some overalls or dungarees, which is very, very cute. And then you also get like, this is just a girl holding Harepus. So let's see. you get this little, I think she's holding him here with a striped sweater. So he has a little striped sweater that can go on. And then you also get, what else kind of clothes for him or her? Yeah, I think that's, yeah, you get a striped jacket, some dungarees. There's actually a list on the back. And then like a knitted jacket, like not a knitted jacket, sorry, a tie jacket. And then a striped jacket with buttons, a t-shirt, a dress, a shawl, and a mini blanket. So like a little mini blanket to like really, really use up those leftover scraps. So you got this, yeah, this is the mini blanket. Really cute. So like, yeah, you get to like fully use up your leftovers there. And I thought this was just absolutely adorable, and I wanted to make Jakobsen and his or her entire wardrobe. I think it's going to be a her. I think I make a lot of stuffed animals that I like, what is it called? I call them him. So yeah, so I'm going to make a little lady Jakobsen, I think. And so you have to buy yarn to get the pattern. And I bought these colors for Jakobsen. So this is Rauma Fin Ull, which is 100% Norwegian yarn, fingering weight. And this is Rauma Plum, which is their 70% Super Kid Mohair, 30% polyamide. And this is in the shade 003. It's like this off-white. And this is the shade 4078, which is kind of like beige-ish. It was like one of the recommended combos in the pattern to make this color bunny. So you also had to buy 2 additional skeins, and so I bought some Rauma Garn Pandora, which is their cotton yarn. It's 100% Pima cotton, and it is also fingering weight. So this is going to be Jakobsen's striped jacket, which is going to be really cute. And I think I'll use the leftovers, maybe get some more fingering weight cotton yarn, and maybe make like a striped cardigan for my girl as well. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. It doesn't have to be something I have plans for already, but this is going to be a striped Jakobsen jacket, so he can at least have that. And I do have, like I mentioned, a lot of leftover fingering weight yarns, so I was thinking I would use those and make the rest of the clothes for her. Yeah, this is just adorable. I'm very much, I don't know if you can tell, I'm very much in a stuffy knitting kick right now. That's just what I feel like making. So that is what I've been casting on and what I've been working the most on. So yeah, that is everything that I had to show you guys. And it's actually been quite a bit since 2 weeks ago, which is surprising because I work a full-time job, I'm a mom, and yeah, knitting time is scarce, but I guess when they're small projects, they work up really quickly anyway, so a little bit of a cheat code there. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, please go ahead, and if you did enjoy, hit the like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you're working on. I love to engage with you guys, it's so much fun. And if you want to come over and say hello elsewhere, I am over on Instagram and Ravelry as the Strikkechick, and you can also find me on my own website, thestrikkechick.com. Until next time, you guys, happy knitting! Bye!